to the table to discuss some of these interesting headlines on our dailies this morning. Chris Monica joins us. Good to have you. Good morning, Chris.
Good morning, Charles. Charles, you're looking, I suspect you're looking, you're looking Natasha.
I don't envy her at this moment, really. I can just imagine the breakdown of our emotions, what she's going through at the moment.
Well, the nation against one person is inhuman. When they say the state against one person. From our indication, a whole establishment like the Senate against one senator. A woman for that matter, for whatever reason. But I find someone, there are selective discharge of duties where there are certain things that happen in Nigeria. You find Nigeria very effective. One of them, if a policeman suffers harm, you will know that Nigerian police are active. So, what else, before I come down to what I'm talking about? There are certain things that will happen. If something happens to, to any strong man in Nigeria, there are some of them that have, over time, find themselves probably, this issue of kidnap and on the nabbing and all, once a big man is involved, every security apparatus in Nigeria is deployed. And over time, they find that they make some moves, and we have had instances. Now, if Nigerian Senate gets involved and they want to clean up their name, they can sacrifice a senator. That's what it seems they're doing. They're very active. I've never seen Nigerian Senate. Within a short time, petitioners, INEC have received petition, the Kogi Central, all the electorate assemble. It takes INEC months of their staff visiting registration center or renewal of voters registration, and they won't see people. I've lived in Kogi State, in Central, even to be sure. You go to those primary schools where the staff come, people will trickling in until, how come? Just a matter of hours, all the people that elected Natasha have assembled. Nigerians are becoming wonderful. I mean, kudos Nigeria. You guys are doing wonderful things. God bless you, Kogi Central electorate.
Do you think it's sponsored?
From my mouth, you hear that? No! Who is sponsoring who?
I'm just
Charles,
saying.
we voted you in as senator. And it took us years to vote you. And it's in seconds we recall you. And of course, all recalling process in Nigeria, this is the most swift. How come? I mean, who said INEC have not? Who said Nigerian Senate have not improved? Who said INEC has not become very active and effective? I'm giving them 100%. They all improved. We are doing wonderful work, Charles. You said something about the emotion and the trauma of Natasha. Once you set a president, Aloluana, president of Aloluana, president of intimidation, just to wangle and it will come back. This is the president of Aloluana being set. If there are issues, this is not the first time senator have gone against the rules and regulations of the distinguished Senate of Federal Republic of Nigeria. But we find out that in this case, some extraordinary things are playing out, which becomes suspicious. That's all I'm saying. I'm not a senator. Within there, they know what is rule. But what I'm saying, let it be. That is not what we are hearing around that come around. Because if ever it becomes, then the distinguished senators have removed the India and they become extinguished senators. I have respect for all of them. There are people, there are still people who are distinguished. But let them, those ones among them that still maintain the word D in their name, do not remove it because of these issues. Not soil your hand, use hammer to the mallet to kill a housefly. Is it worth it? It becomes suspicious. Is it how we are effective in all issues of Nigeria? Something, my mind tells me is wrong. I don't know what it is. I'm not a juju, I'm not a witch doctor, but there are certain things, there's a way even some people will say some things, even the deaf begin to hear. This particular case, I've spoken it in Gala language, they've spoken in Ibira, they've spoken in Oworo, they've spoken in all the languages in Kogi. You know, Kogi is a mini Nigeria. There are about 9 languages there. They've spoken in Basa. Now they are coming out to speak it in Igbo. They've come to speak in Hausa and even Yoruba. And by the time they speak it in Pidgin English, then it becomes dawn on everybody what is the actual situation. Because when this thing was going on, we said, as a manager of the Distinguished Senate, would I find a better way? But it's like, you know, if it is in my place, that's how you know a stranger. Now, if they say, if I am, that's when they know that I'm not a senator. So the senators know how they have started dealing with it. We are looking at it because what is good for the geese is also good for the gander. And the snake, the killer of the snake want life. Even the snake being killed want life. Let us know that, like my father told me, if anybody want to kill you, you don't know what to do with your life, swallow it in your stomach. It's still an effort. So that's about Natasha Gate and Natasha window. I've noticed that on Natasha Gate, Natasha window. The Natasha Gate might be working against Natasha, but the window is the only thing open for Natasha to jump out. And when jumping out of that window, a lot of things, you know, if you walk out of the gate, you walk out honorably. When some people, in pursuit of Natasha, are meant to jump out of the window, their own will be who laugh last, laugh best.
But again, don't you think that at this rate, maybe Natasha would have done something differently from the way she approached her case? Do you think she would have done something differently?
You know, when fight gets rough at that, like fella say, rough fight. When the fight gets to a certain point, you do not decorate it again. When a fight gets somewhere, everybody is fighting for survival. But the issue here, you see, underdog. If a whole establishment of Nigerian Senate are fighting just one small girl with a senator, it brings this kind of feeling we're having into it. Do you understand? Right. Everybody start feeling, a whole Nigerian Senate with their distinguishedness getting involved in some undistinguished fight.
Right. Do you think the president maybe would have intervened? I mean, it's just probably one call, or maybe one.
DC, let us, for instance, be very, having some consideration. The president of Federal Republic of Nigeria will intervene where he feels the interest is so high.
Like in Rivers.
You know, at the position, as Nigerian president, disposition and test of things in general must be considered in dealing with things. His disposition of things. You want the president to get involved in, if you say, make me happy, get involved. I mean, sort yourself up. But, you know, he has not, he is watching his ways. He has an election to prosecute in 2 years. I mean, and for them at that position, there's no time. So you're considering things that will spoil business for you. And that's why you get involved.
But this can also spoil it for him because...
Well, I don't know.
If he doesn't act.
Kogi Central is not comparable to River State. But that's it. You know, because I'm saying, as president of Nigeria, the view is clearer. Whatever he would have done. If you people feel also that he should have intervened, and probably he should consider intervening. Why I think I'm also telling you the opinion is that if you shouldn't wait until you get so rough and then the smear on the nation. If he's only smear against a unit of Nigeria, which is Senate, and they are fighting, struggling, and he sees that they're not handling it very well, he can step up and say, I suspend the Natasha gate, I suspend the Natasha window, I suspend all involved in this now, and then everyone will have calm. And then they will go back on their different constituencies and start talking muli on how to come back. But, you know, at least you can see in River State, some kind of people have now, at the center, they have been clear. So a bus is there, you know. All the malarias have gone. 8 bars. I didn't center. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's go on and there's so many notes I put in there.
Yeah.
The Guardian, 1,001 local vessels rely on Ghana and other for routine maintenance. It means Nigeria rely on even other places in Nigeria to get their toothpicks and biscuits and handkerchiefs. 1,102 vessels that will ply Nigerian waters go outside Nigeria for servicing and routine maintenance and other countries. So what you can ask yourself now, what do Nigerians do for themselves? Only things they do for themselves is Natasha window, Natasha gate, suspension and recall, and signing petition of recall. And you think, obodo na-efu amu. How they fufu? You find a community where people are missing. Hey, once somebody miss, they meet and they laugh. Charles missed today. The next day, Chris missed. They go and say, God, this not Chris Tom today. That's how they will miss and miss. Before they come out, you won't see anybody to laugh. They will just finish. That is what describes the case of Nigeria. Nigeria is on the verge of... Our vessels on Nigerian waters are being serviced outside. There's nothing we are importing fully. We are doing so many things, and we are here. Natasha River State suspension. Is this the leg Nama we used to reach Umuahia? Charles, let's move on. Socrates, you know, when you are starting, where said democracy, all those people, Plato, and all those things we studied, whether it's true or not, against is their word against their own. But even Socrates one time said democracy will be demarcated, it will be overrated, and democracy will fight itself. That is a fulfillment of book in our own time. He said it will get to a time where democracy becomes too much freedom. The poor will want the riches of the thieves. We want the position of the honored people. All of and they will be getting it. The Yahoo will get enough money and they take positions of authority. He said at that point, democracy will crash. And that, I can bet you, Charles, that is fulfilling in our own time. What this democracy that we are talking about, I am sure that some people crossed the hurdle when it was democracy. And Nigeria got at the level of democracy when they tested it, it became democracy. We are now confused. Everything negative about democracy has begun to happen in Nigeria. Fools have taken the position of wise people. The riches, the poor, have struggled and have gotten to certain position of authority. The yahoos, boys and girls, have amassed enough money and they bought themselves into powers. The religious ones have been the people who are not, the SMIs and the SMDs have taken over pastors in managed position and all that kind of. That is what freedom. Anything, when they say too much of everything, too much freedom that democracy has offered, and Africa, in our own case, those people there had some check and balance. Our own is, and that's what has demarcated democracy in our own time. So when we are talking about what is student of democracy, they do go and find out whether democracy they were taught or what they wrote in the book is what, unless we have African faction of democracy, because I'm confused at this point. You get the point, you get home when you have a small child. I'm a grandfather, and my grandchild will ask me, Father, what is the definition of democracy? Do I look the small child and say and define the same democracy? Then he will come back and tell me, I don't think you are right. And I will be ashamed. Democracy not working in Nigeria. OBJ, Tambuwa, Kuka. But now Tambuwa, at the point, has a mouth to say whether democracy is working. At the time, he crossed the carpet, defected from a party that gave him. Did he remember this day? We gathered together, tell ourselves lies when it was convenient for us, and when we come now, we're looking for who cost. And somebody, you call Opuyanyas that side, come fat. And you look there and say, who did this? Who talked that? Or who caused this while? jailbreak has become a recurring issue in Kogi. So the Nigerian, what they call it, Nigerian Correctional Center should beam their satellite to Kogi. This is not it. When something happened over time in one place, and the jail in Kogi, they have to consider whether they still keep that jail there. Because you do not have to carry squirrel in your bag to go and plant seeds. I don't understand what is happening. And it's just chasing shadows. Something is wrong. And the Director General of the Nigerian Correctional Center in Nigeria, the formerly Nigerian prisons and whatever, the Internal Minister of Internal Affairs should beam their satellite to Kogi. There are 2 jails in Nigeria that have been breaking over time. One is the one in Abuja, the outskirts of Abuja, that popular center where jail breaks. And then only in those centers in Nigeria, just like in London where bridges fall down, these are 2 centers in Nigeria where jail breaks are called regularly. And if the Director General of Nigerian Correctional Center pretend he didn't hear what I say, let other people who are closer tell him, put me a searchlight there. Don't search no further. There's something wrong. Dangote Refinery and others may import $1.4 billion crude oil monthly. And I ask, Charles, if we use $1.4 billion to cover our teeth, how much will we get when we laugh? Which people will consume this crude oil we will bring back here? $1.4 billion monthly. How much will we make out of this crude oil when we refine it? Where are we going to sell it? With the amount of crude being stolen in Nigeria, with over 80 billion naira contract given on one man to secure the pipelines and the waterways, and other contract given to other strong men to secure the resource, the eagle that laid the golden egg of Nigerian oil. We still have to import $1.4 billion. I like the way the reggae man calls it. He said dollars. $1.4 billion to import crude oil in this country to refine and sell. What do I say? It's making work. There are certain figures you hear, after mentioning it, you go to sleep, wake up healthy, and hunger and hardship in Nigeria go. I'm only saying, may they look at that very well, oh. That's all I can say. Of course, I don't have power to stop you. I'm saying, if you feel it's good, is it very well? If it is good, is it very good to import this amount? Where we have NNPCL, for the refineries working in Nigeria, and we have scratch ground in the backyard, we have crude oil, and we have Dangote, we still import crude. Is it important for the NNPC refinery? Or is it important for Dangote refinery? Which other refinery do we have in Nigeria? The other one were still in the pipeline. So are we importing for the future? Charles, everybody involved in oil and gas, if they are not liars, they are thieves. And when somebody is both a liar and a thief, the person has lacked all human conscience. And that is it. So you get to a point where, in pursuit of money, and you're talking about this kind of dollars, you spend the kind of dollars that you roll about in oil and gas. Almost everybody has lost their conscience. So whatever we're talking does not make sense. That's what we feel. The other day we talked about contract in crude oil. Does it mean that contract has been cancelled when we're talking about importing? So because it's when there's no crude in Naira, people will say they get it where it's cheaper. But if Nigeria actually can import 1.4, if you give Nigerian or crude oil this amount without throwing it away to go and collect again, Don't you think we make... Police intercepting how many number of rifles there, Charles? Don't make it hear from your mouth. The number, that is from Punch. Police intercepting number of rifles being imported in this country. Charles, do hunters in Nigeria use AK-47?
Hunters.
Because I don't know why you're importing that kind of quantity of rifles. And this is the one, only the one they can see. What of the ones that are passed into this country that they didn't see? Dress one, Charles. Because if this kind of rifles have been coming in and they just cut to this one, it means... Soyinka said, our Nobel laureate, respected Soyinka, said he will evaluate his friend, the Jagaban, at his own terms. I mean,
we don't be in terms of anybody else. I mean, it has to be.
That's why. But one thing that's interesting that we need to, that why are they going to Ponzi school to arrest people? It's a question. I am not a member of the school. I am not a lecturer in the Ponzi school. But to know that number of Nigerians are studying in Ponzi, they've left universities, and some people have established school of Ponzi in Nigeria. With that number of people they arrested studying Ponzi. It was recently that I heard that they have 419 schools in Edo, Benin. So many schools where you send your children to school, you think they're University of Benin. You wouldn't know they have taken a jump to school of 419. So this is another thing. This Nigeria is a surprising nation. Ponzi school in Abuja with that number of people arrested. I'll tell you a story why I round up. Somebody brought his girlfriend to a beer parlor and he was drinking. It was those days that Big Stout was cheap. He was asking for Big Stout. He would drink. At a point, the girlfriend started crying. He said, Emeka, you have taken 4 bottles of Big Stout. You want to kill me? If this number of people in Ponzi school are targeting 240 million Nigerians, when I want to kill us, Ponzi people, would you do? How many people are left in Nigerian universities? On a wicked Allah. It means that we begin to search all the schools. Please begin to search all the schools. Check all the departments. Let's go back to Nigerian University Commission and all the Polytechnic, NAPTEC, and see whether the department they have there, whether they have department of Ponzi's. God bless Nigeria.
All right, Chris Monica, many thanks for your insights on the headlines on the dailies this morning. We truly appreciate you.
Save Nature TV. News in your pocket.